Reader's Bookshelf. I'm El Roshi. And today I'm going to be interviewing Eileen Hobbs, and she's the author of the Heath Cousins in the Moonstone Cave series. And, well, I really like her books, and I'm going to ask her some great questions. I hope you guys see it. And, well, I gotta run. Hi.
Hi, Ariel. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you for your time.
Of course.
And I have a few questions. And I really like your book.
Thank you.
My first question is, so what inspired you to write this book?
Well, what inspired me to write this book was when I watched my two boys playing outside with their cousins, and they would use their imagination and they would pretend like they were in different worlds. And so I decided, well, that would make a really good story to write a story about cousins.
Yeah, it really would.
So that's what inspired me.
So how are they doing now?
Oh, they're doing well. They're all grown now. And you know that the Moonstone Cave is the first book of a series, and there are 5 books in the series. And so, as you know, in the Moonstone Cave, they go through the cave and they end up in this magical garden, and they meet a woman that gives each of them a special stone that has a special power, a special gift.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And, yeah, and then the rest of the books are gateways back to that same magical land.
Mm-hmm.
So if you enjoyed book 1, then I'm going to after we talk, I'll send you book 2. How does that sound?
That sounds amazing. I really love the book because it was so thoughtful and really nice. How there were so many entries, and I read on the end of the book, I read that little description from the next book, and that sounds really exciting. About Molly and the gateway from the bridge.
That's right. That's right. That's book 2.
So, what inspired you to create characters ADB, Jack, Beanie, and Bodie? Were those the names of your children?
They're not the names of my children, but they're kind of patterned after my children. Jack is kind of a combination of both of my boys.
Nice.
And Beanie and Bodie, I have 2 sons, and then their their cousin Josh and their cousin Rebecca. And Rebecca's my niece. Mm-hmm. And so I based Addie B on Rebecca. And nice. Rebecca was a lot like that. She loves to read. Mm-hmm. She was always very inquisitive. And, she was the only girl cousin with 3 boy cousins.
That's great.
So, yeah, so that's what I based them on.
What made you decide their roles, like Jack being the protector and Bodie lighting the way and Beanie opening the keys and ADB being the wisest? Was it based on their personality?
A little bit, yeah, because Jack was the oldest, and so I thought, well, that would make him the protector because he learns to protect his cousins. And Addie B, well, one of the things I've always wanted to be able to do is to learn and speak different languages. Well, and so I kind of gave her that Addie B my special power that I wanted. So, and then I just thought Bodie and Beanie were so cute that I thought that their little special gifts might be to talk to animals or to help heal, because when somebody gets hurt, they can help heal.
Mm-hmm. So the lesson that you teach them about teamwork and stuff, it's really amazing. And I'm wondering if your cousins did it too. I mean, your kids.
Not really, but I really like the idea that at the beginning they don't get along. Mm. And when they meet Gemma in the magical garden, then she knows that they haven't been getting along, and so she kind of encourages them to have this teamwork so they can talk to each other and work things out together. So I think that was Gemma's plan all along.
So like Gemma's like maybe Gemma's like a ghost like guardian that just brings them together.
Yeah, I never really answered that question, but I like to think that there is a world after this one where we can meet our loved ones and meet people that are special to us. And so I, I'm a Christian, and so I do believe that there is life after our world. But not everybody believes that same way. But I think that as kids, if you're grieving or if you're sad, it's very comforting to know that your loved one is still there and still in your heart and in your life.
That's a really nice quote. So why is this book Native American themed here and there?
Well, one of my sons is actually Native American. Both of my boys are adopted. My oldest boy was adopted from Paraguay, so he is South American, and my youngest boy is part Native American. And so I just I kind of wanted to, and I've always been very interested in the Native American culture.
Me too.
And so I just wanted to include that part in there. I like to write books that have diverse characters and people with different kinds of backgrounds. So
I really like those type books too, because then like all different people come together.
Exactly. We're all different, but we all have things that we can have in common too.
Mm-hmm. So do you research a lot to gather information for this book?
Yes, I did research. I do quite a bit of research, even though my books are fiction, because I like to be able to have an understanding of it. So I did research, like for this book, I researched the Native American Indians in Maine and found out what tribes were there. And then I researched a lot about stones. I love stones.
Yeah.
And so I've always loved stones. And so I researched a lot about different stones and things like that. So yeah, I do try to do research, and then I might base it on a little bit of reality, but then I like to take off into a more fiction fantasy.
Yeah. How'd you come up with the details of the story? Was it like all based on your children, or did like you go to someone or ask for the Latin language? Because I noticed that the Latin language pops up.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, the Latin language, I have a brother-in-law and a sister who both teach Latin. And so I wanted to expose kids to some different languages. And so I decided to use the Latin in there. And then I had my brother-in-law and my sister look at all of the Latin phrases to make sure I was using them correctly.
Nice. That's really nice. So, do you speak any other language?
I do. I speak Thai.
Nice.
Yes, I grew up in Thailand. My parents were missionaries there.
So, did you face any challenges while writing this book? And if you did, then how did you overcome them? Because writing a book is a lot of work.
Well, actually, this first book, I started it when my kids were young, and I didn't finish it until several years later. And so once I got it published, though, the others came very quickly. But the first one took a really long time. There's a lot of challenges to publishing. One, there's so many different ways to publish. You can do traditional publishing, which can take a really long time to try to find somebody to publish your book. Or you can completely self-publish and do everything on your own. Or we can do what we call a hybrid, which is where you pay somebody to help you with different parts of the publishing. And so that's kind of what I did. I kept control over everything, but I did get some professionals to help me with it.
Nice. So like you had your own self to do it and you had help from others, which is really nice.
Exactly.
Meaning you have your way to get it done and others also help you.
Exactly.
Are there any interesting or memorable experiences from your own life that came in here other than your children?
Probably not in this book, but maybe this is a good time to tell you about my new book. My new book is called Under the Golden Rain Tree,
Ooh.
and it is about a little girl in Thailand, and she is bullied because she has an arm that's not quite right. But she meets in the forest one day a magical white elephant, and it changes her life, and it gives her confidence, and it helps her to feel loved and gives her a great friend. So, because I grew up in Thailand, there's a lot of my growing up years in that book. So, there's a little bit of me in every book. um, a little bit of me in each character, like Addie B. And so I was kind of like that growing up, where I like to just read and write all the time. So, yeah.
Really nice. So in the end, does she get to ride the white elephant to school? Because that would really change herself.
Well, I tell you what, I'll maybe that'll be the next book I send you.
When's your new book coming out?
It's already out. It's
Oh,
already out and it's
that's
on Amazon.
amazing.
It's already out and it's on Amazon. So that'll be my sixth book.
Sixth book.
So there's 5 books in my Heath Cousins series. And then this one is coming out. And then I've got a couple of others that I'm working on.
Did you always want to be an author or did you want to be something else as a child?
I probably always wanted to be an author. I just wasn't sure I could. From your age on, I was writing stories. I wasn't getting them published, but I was writing, and I've always loved to write stories.
Nice.
So, but I never really thought I could make a living from it. And it is hard to make a living from just being an author. So I've always worked and done other things, but now I'm kind of focusing on being an author. So I like that.
That's really nice. So can you give me a piece of advice you'd give to children who want to be authors?
Oh, yes. Well, first of all, keep reading and keep writing. And I would say to talk to other authors and see how they kind of went about getting their books published. As a young person, being an author, it's a little bit harder because you do need help from your parents, and you'll need help with getting in contact with a publisher. So, but I think just keep all of your stories. Don't throw any away.
Oh no, I don't throw them.
And yeah, and just talk to your parents about maybe how to get started publishing. So I'm still learning a lot about it, and it takes a long time to learn about it. So you'll probably need an adult to kind of walk you through and help you with the steps.
I was writing a few drafts about this book, and then my mom said that it can't be realistic because number one, the whole world cannot freeze, so that one little girl can go to another dimension. And number two, that dimension can't not take any time out of the other world. And she's just being, and I'm like, that is fiction. I don't like nonfiction.
Tell her that you're in control of the story. You're the leader of the story. That's the wonderful thing about writing fiction and fantasy, is that you're in charge, and you can make your characters do and go and be whatever you want them to be.
You know, that's a really, really nice thing.
So just keep writing what you love.
So what was the process of writing your book?
Well, there's several different steps. First of all, you write a draft, and then you go back and you rewrite and edit and rewrite. And then a lot of times what I've been doing is I will have a beta reader. Like, you could be a beta reader for one of my books. And that means that I send you the manuscript before it's published and get your ideas and your thoughts on it. especially if it's a children's book.
That's
And
what one of
then,
the authors gave me.
yes, exactly. So you becoming a beta reader is so great
It's
because
amazing because
you
you
are
get to read it
so
before the rest of the
helpful.
world does.
You're so helpful to the
Mhm.
authors. We want to make sure that what we're writing is appropriate for our genre. So
Mhm.
are the level that we're writing for. And then you really have to have a good editor, whether it's through your publisher.
Yeah.
And sometimes I go through more than one edit. I'll do one or
Mhm.
two edits. And then you have to have an illustrator. I'm not an illustrator.
Yeah.
So for my books, I like to have little pictures throughout, not
Mhm.
many because it's not a
Yeah.
picture book. So I have to have an illustrator that can take my ideas and put
Mhm.
them on paper.
It's really
And
good.
yeah. And then usually you have to have the publisher format it and make
Mhm.
sure that it fits on the page and make sure everything looks good on the cover. So there's a lot of different little steps along the way.
So I really liked your illustrations because like they were so nice. My
Good.
my brother loved the one with the wolf. He was going crazy over that one.
I know I love the
He
White Wolf
stopped,
too.
and then he made me stop reading until the rest of the day so he can just stare at that wolf. He
That
also liked
wolf
the
is
pony.
the wolf is a theme throughout my books. Okay. So in the next book, you'll learn a little bit more about that wolf because that wolf plays a bigger part in my series.
Jumani?
Jumani is there too.
Hmm? He's the one
Jumani
with
is in everyone. Yeah.
he's
And
the one with the black wolf.
the black wolf.
Ooh. You know what? When
Yeah.
the black wolf just came up, I thought that he was just a random animal. And that like they were on the dark side of the forest or something.
Yeah. Well, he's introduced in book one.
Hmm.
I should say he or she because it might be a she. And then she's also in every other book.
Hmm. So maybe it'd be cool if like there was like another person that is in the white garden, but instead of a white garden, there's a black garden.
Maybe so. Maybe
And then
so.
like maybe there could be one like where the wolf comes from the black garden.
Very possible. In
And then
book
like there's like a
two,
raid or something.
in book two, they go back to the garden, but the garden is all the flowers have all died. And it's like there was a
Flowers again.
fire. So I won't tell you anymore, but they have to go back and help Gemma.
Mm, that's what I got from the draft, but I didn't get the flower
Yes.
part, so that's enough.
Okay, I'm zipping my mouth. I'm not saying any more now.
Yeah. So, do you like read every single day like me?
I wish I could read every single day. Um, and I do. I have so many books that I've started,
Yeah.
and then I'll start another one, and then I'll start another one, then I'll go back to one I've started. So,
That happens to me. I start so many different books because they're all the library books, and my brother isn't allowed to touch any of the library books that I got that I'm already into. So I just read the first page of every single one, and then we leave it there. Then so many stories are stuck in my mind, and then I
I
get some
know it.
ideas, and then just jot them down. Then I read another page of each, and then like that's how I usually get a story with all different ideas from books. And if you can see there, got so
Yes,
many
you
different
have a great collection already.
those are only how many that are not littered around this table that I'm sitting at.
Yeah. I do try to write a little bit every day. That doesn't always work.
And if you could travel back in time, give yourself a piece of advice when you're starting to write. So, like to do better or to get something done better that you wish you would, then what would you give yourself? Because I've always wanted to do that. Right now, I had a dance party night, and what happened was that there was soda and popcorn and stuff, but then the soda was almost done. And I went to the popcorn line and there was still like this much popcorn. And then I'm like, oh, come on, I wish I could have gone to the soda.
Well, there's a lot of things I would probably go back and give myself advice for, but
Mhm.
as far as writing, I would probably say to start earlier. I
Yeah.
started late. I started late. And as far as because I never quite knew what to do as far as getting
Mhm.
published. And honestly, I didn't think that anybody would want to read my books.
I didn't
So,
actually care about that
yeah,
part. I just start scribbling drafts and then my parents read and that's all I care about.
that's right.
My brother, he's still learning how to read and he's 6
That's great.
and he's
That's a good
turning
age.
7 in a few
Yeah.
months. And so like I'm trying to help him read by making books because he really likes little books and then like staple them together and then like he reads them.
Well, I think just continue to be creative no matter what your art or what you love. You just have to keep doing it.
And
And
that's
even
a
if you're
really good
doing
piece
it
of
just for
advice.
yourself or
Mhm.
your parents or a
Yeah.
friend to read, then that's important too.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
I don't really focus on the publishing. I just focus on trying to get it done first because like after I get it done, who knows, the book might be so good that the publisher would put it there.
Exactly. Exactly. You're so right.